Welcome to Privacy Trainer's Privacy Definitions. Now, let's continue our alphabetical journey through key privacy terms, focusing on those beginning with the letter L from lawful basis, a required legal reason for processing personal data under privacy law, to log files, records that detail activities within an information system, useful for auditing and security. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive in. Law enforcement authority refers to official agencies empowered by local, regional, or national governments to uphold the law and detain lawbreakers. These authorities operate under the legal framework set to protect public welfare and order. Law enforcement authority, EU-specific, in Europe. Law enforcement authorities uphold the law while adhering to strict criminal procedure rules to safeguard privacy rights as stipulated in Article 8 of the ECHR and the Directive 2016/680, which governs the processing of personal data for law enforcement purposes. Law Enforcement Directive EU Directive 2016/680 outlines the norms for handling personal data by law enforcement authorities across the EU. This directive emphasizes data protection during the prevention, detection, and prosecution of crimes and safeguards against public security threats. Lawfulness under the GDPR, personal data processing must be lawful, fair, and transparent. Data subjects should be clearly informed about the data processing activities, ensuring they understand and consent to how the data is managed. Layered notice, a privacy notice format recommended by the GDPR, featuring a concise top layer summarizing key points and a detailed bottom layer providing comprehensive data handling information to enhance understandability. Layered security policy, a security strategy that employs multiple layers of defenses across the data processing ecosystem, detailing policies from high-level goals through to specific procedural implementations. Lead supervisory authority, the main regulatory body for overseeing cross-border data processing activities within the EU, serving as the primary point of contact for enterprises engaged in such processing. Least privilege, a fundamental security principle that restricts access rights for users to the bare minimum necessary to perform their tasks, effectively reducing potential risks. Legal basis for processing, the GDPR mandates that data controllers justify the processing of personal data by one of 6 legal grounds, which include consent, contractual necessity, legal obligations, vital interests, public interest, or legitimate interests. Legitimate interests of controller, one of the GDPR's legal bases for data processing, where the data controller's business interests are deemed legitimate and do not override the rights and freedoms of the data subjects. Legitimate processing criteria, standards that determine the conditions under which personal data processing is considered legitimate, focusing on necessity and proportionality to the controller's operational needs. Limiting use, the principle that personal data should not be utilized beyond the scope for which it was originally collected, except by obtaining further consent or as required by law. Lindqvist judgment, a landmark ruling by the ECJ, which determined that web-based personal data disclosure without protection measures breaches EU data protection laws, highlighting the broad applicability of privacy regulations to online activities. Linkability, the ability to associate different pieces of user data collected across various contexts to identify an individual, posing challenges for maintaining user anonymity. Local area network, LAN, a network infrastructure that connects computers within a limited area, such as a home, school, laboratory, or office building, facilitating data communications and resource sharing. Local governance refers to the decentralization of decision-making to lower levels within an organization, promoting a more responsive and locally tailored administrative approach. Local shared objects, LSOs, also known as flash cookies. These are data files used to store user preferences and track website visits, more persistent than typical browser cookies. Location data, information that pinpoints the geographic position of a device, utilized by various services to enhance functionalities like navigation, tracking, and personalized content delivery. Location-based service, POUNds, utilizes geographic data to provide services relevant to the user's current location, including social networking, advertising, and emergency services. Logs, records of events or transactions, either automatically or manually entered, used to monitor, analyze, and secure data processing activities within IT systems. Low-level design, detailed design phase that translates a high-level design into physical implementation, specifying all technical details and logistics for deployment. Legislative compliance, adherence to laws and regulations within the jurisdiction where data is processed, often requiring policies and measures to protect personal data against misuse or breach. Log management, the practice of aggregating, organizing, and managing log data generated by computers and networks, crucial for security, compliance, and operational monitoring. Longitudinal data analysis, study of data collected from the same subjects over a period of time, often used in privacy research to understand changes in behavior or impact of policy changes. Loyalty program data management, handling of personal information collected through customer loyalty programs, requiring careful attention to privacy concerns and consent management. Lucid consent framework, a strategy for ensuring that data subjects are fully informed and actively consenting to data processing, enhancing transparency and trust. Legacy system data protection, security measures and policies aimed at protecting personal information held within outdated IT systems, which may not comply with current security standards. Liveliness detection, technologies used in authentication processes to detect signs of life, preventing unauthorized access via spoofing or the use of non-living replicas. Linked data, privacy concerns associated with managing privacy risks when datasets are interconnected, particularly in semantic web technologies. Load balancing, privacy strategies to ensure that data processing loads do not compromise the privacy or integrity of the information being handled. Localization of data processing, adapting data processing operations to meet the legal and cultural expectations of privacy in different geographical locations.